Good evening, everyone at Tushita and online. Welcome for this Medicine Buddha Puja and a mantra recitation. We'll try to accumulate mantras of Medicine Buddha, especially for the swift recovery of His Holiness the Dalai Lama after his knee surgery. So I think the doctors, they say it takes anywhere between 6 to 12 months to be fully recovered after the knee replacement surgery. But so of course we are not, it's not that His Holiness needs our mantras. It's more for ourselves, to clear any obstacle that we have to receive more teachings from His Holiness. So before we start, let us do a short settling meditation to arrive in front of our device, to arrive on our cushion here at the center. We can start by taking 3 slow, deep breaths. Making sure the stomach rises and falls with each breath. And now we'll also engage in a 5 minutes shamatha practice. Shamatha is Sanskrit for calm abiding. What we'll do specifically is a single-pointed short meditation to refresh our concentration so that we are fully present for the puja. So for shamatha practice, there are 4 main instructions. The first one is to look at our body posture. Ideally sitting on the floor, but if you're sitting on the chair, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're not leaning against the support of the chair, not leaning forward either. If you're sitting on the floor, the absolute best is to sit in the full lotus posture. That means each foot on top of the opposite leg. That might be a little bit challenging, a little bit. Don't force your body, make sure you are comfortable. You can simply sit cross-legged. You can also sit in a half lotus or even Burmese style with one leg in front of the other. You can place your hands in a concentration mudra with your right hand on top of the left, the 2 thumbs slightly touching, and this mudra rests in your lap. The back is straight. This is actually the most important point, is for your body to be upright. You can imagine there is a string pulling from the crown of your head, keeping your body upright. But even though the back is straight, it is not stiff, it is naturally upright. The shoulders, the arms are relaxed. The neck is aligned in the continuation of the spine. You can very slightly tilt the head forward, but not much. You can place your tongue just behind your upper teeth towards the upper palate. This helps to reduce the production of saliva during meditation. Finally, the eyes, we don't completely close them, we leave them slightly opened. Gazing 1 or 2 meters in the space in front of you, about 45 degrees cast down, but not actually paying attention to whatever appears in front of our eyes. We just ignore whatever appears, and we use the mental consciousness to meditate. So this posture is known as Buddha Vairochana meditation posture. It has 7 points, and the most important is for your body to be upright. Now the second instruction for shamatha practice is the object of meditation. What are we actually meditating on? If you are familiar with shamatha, you can take the object you're the most used to for single-pointed concentration. And if you are new to this practice, what I would suggest is to use the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. Try to place all your attention there. Focus only on the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. Observing that perhaps when you breathe in, there's like a cool sensation at the entrance of the nostrils, and when you breathe out, it's perhaps a little bit warmer. Now the third instruction is that when we meditate, we tend to get distracted. There are two main ways we get distracted. The first one is called mental excitement. Basically, we are distracted with thoughts, mostly thinking about past, future. For example, thinking about dinner after the session, or thinking about something that happened during the day. Therefore, we lose our object of meditation. The second way we tend to get distracted is with mental laxity, also called dullness or lethargy. Basically, we are not putting enough application in our concentration, and the mind starts to sink. We tend to fall asleep, we fall into daydreaming, and therefore we also lose our object of meditation. So the fourth and final instruction for samatha practice is that there are two antidotes that we need to use to counteract these distractions. The antidotes are called introspection and mindfulness. The first one, introspection, you can imagine it is like an agent in the background of your mind that is checking, what is my mind doing? Is it meditating? Is it focused on my object of meditation? Or is it distracted with thoughts or with lethargy? And the moment this introspection notices that the mind has wandered, that it is not focused on the object of meditation anymore, we make use of the second antidote, mindfulness. And the role of mindfulness is to remember what we are doing, not to forget the object of meditation. So mindfulness brings the mind back onto the object of meditation and make sure it stays there. An analogy that I often use is that you can imagine if you have a pet dog at home and the dog runs away. Introspection notices that the dog is gone. Mindfulness brings the dog back home, and you can also imagine tying him against a pillar so that he remains at home. It is a little bit similar to what we are doing with our minds. So let us try this practice for about 5 minutes, making sure to always use introspection to notice that we are focused on our object of meditation. And the moment we notice we are not focused, we use mindfulness to bring the mind back onto the object of meditation and staying there. 5 minutes. gently come out of the meditation. Now that our minds are hopefully a bit more focused, let us try to generate a good motivation for this session. Of course, we are also doing this puja for the swift recovery of His Holiness the Dalai Lama after the knee replacement surgery, as well as to stop all the wars in the world. But let us try to generate an even broader motivation, a motivation of bodhicitta, a Mahayana motivation. Mahayana is the great vehicle, and the entry door to that great vehicle is bodhicitta, the mind of awakening. Bodhicitta is the wish to achieve full awakening, to achieve the state of a Buddha, to achieve the state of omniscience, in order to benefit countless sentient beings. Now, what does it mean to benefit them, and why do we want to benefit them? It's because we recognize that since beginningless time, since time immemorial, all sentient beings have been trapped in the vicious prison of their own mind, in the vicious prison of samsara, of cyclic existence, continuously taking rebirth again and again and again without any control. And in each of these rebirths, not being able to choose what kind of rebirth, what kind of environment, what kind of experiences. All these rebirths are dictated by the countless karmas we have accumulated since beginningless time. All these karmas we accumulate because of our mental afflictions, our disturbing emotions, our mental delusions. And all of these are rooted in the number one mental affliction that is called self-grasping ignorance. Basically, we are apprehending the world, our environment, ourselves, other beings as being inherently existing very solidly in and of themselves, existing independently from anything else, and in particular independently from our minds. We have this apprehension for any phenomenon we interact with, and also with ourselves. We have a very solid, strong sense of I, me, myself. We feel that this I is very solid, very truly existent. Because of that, we also have the feeling that we are the center of the universe. We feel that I am more important than others. We cherish this self more than anything else. Also, all the phenomena we interact with, they look so truly objectively real. We exaggerate their qualities. whatever appears as nice, we exaggerate this niceness. Whatever looks a little bit repulsive, we exaggerate that repulsiveness. For example, somebody we don't like. We feel like inherently there are bad qualities in that person and we want that person to stay away from us. Somebody we are attracted to, we exaggerate their good qualities, we want that person to be close to us. And so many mental afflictions arise because of this self-grasping ignorance and this inappropriate attention that exaggerates the qualities. For example, attachment, desire, anger, hatred, jealousy, pride, and so on and so forth. Such mental afflictions are constantly taking over our minds. For example, we see the new iPhone, I don't know which number, 16, 17. It looks, from its side, it looks so shiny, so powerful, and we want to own it. We want this center of the universe, person that we cherish so much, we want this person to be happy at all costs. So we want to possess this iPhone 16 and, for example, we might not have the budget for it. So therefore we'll engage in negative actions such as hinting or even stealing that iPhone. Maybe it's a little bit of an extreme example. We could say, okay, there is somebody we don't like so much, invited us for lunch, but we don't really want to be with that person, so we find some excuse and we lie to that person. We say, sorry, I have other plans, I cannot make it. So this stealing the iPhone or lying to that person, both of these are known as negative karmas, non-virtuous actions. And because of our afflictions, our disturbing emotions, we constantly accumulate such karmas, mostly negative karmas. Now sometimes, due to positive states of mind, we engage in positive karmas, such as helping others, practicing generosity. But because these positive actions are made on the basis of our afflictions, such as attachment, that are rooted in self-grasping ignorance, this misapprehension that phenomena exist in and of themselves, that they exist truly, independently, objectively. Because of that, even the positive karmas that we accumulate, they will result in a positive, like a pleasant experience, but within cyclic existence, within samsara, meaning we don't have any control of out of all the positive, negative karmas we have accumulated in the past. We never know which one will ripen when. Tonight, all of a sudden, we might have an electricity power cut as a result of a negative karma. Similarly, a friend might come and knock on our door with a gift. We cannot really choose what we experience. And we have accumulated countless karmas in the past, both positive, negative. And whatever experiences we have, pleasant and unpleasant, is the result of these karmas accumulated in the past. We cannot choose, and this lack of freedom, this lack of choice is precisely what samsara is. All our experiences dictated by these karmas. And at the moment, perhaps we are not doing so bad. We are born as human beings on this planet. Perhaps we all have here a shelter above our heads. We have food in the fridge. We have water. We have clothing. We have some money in the bank. But we can see around us very easily with our own eyes that we are very privileged, that in fact having all these leisures, all these freedoms, all these opportunities that we have, it is very, very rare. You can see already just among the 8 billion human beings on the planet. Many of them don't have a shelter, many of them don't have a bank account. In fact, just being born human is extremely rare. Just at the level of the planet, you can compare the number of insects and the number of humans. Only 8 billion human beings, countless insects, innumerable insects living on the planet. And not only are we born human, with access to food, water, shelter, and so forth, we also have our physical, mental capacities. We are able to have existential questions. We are able to engage in philosophy. We are also interested in looking at our minds, interested in listening to the teachings of the Buddha, which is extremely rare. Forget about 8 billion human beings, just look, Delhi NCR, I think about 30 million human beings living in Delhi NCR. And look how many came in person today, how many connected to Zoom today, how many are interested to do something about their minds. So all these freedoms, being born as human, in a world where the Buddha appeared, the Buddha taught, his teachings are still very much available, there are many followers, there are many supporters of the Buddha's followers, and all these conditions, this is known as having a precious human life, which is extremely, extremely rare, extremely difficult to find. And once found, it is easily lost due to all the karmas we have accumulated in the past. We don't know at the time of death whatever mind state we will have at the time of death will propel us into the next life. And we never know. If a negative state of mind is triggered at the time of death, we might be reborn in the animal realm, for example. And can you imagine life as an animal? We can see on TV, we can see National Geographic Channel, for example. We can see how life is in the wilderness, how animals are living in a constant fear of being hunted by predators, bigger animals, never fully at rest, never at peace. We can also see all the chicken, for example, how they are raised, for the KFC, for example. Thousands of them in very small places. Even their beaks are cut so that they don't kill each other. Can you imagine how such a life must be? Clearly no opportunity to look at the mind, to look at the afflictions. Even among the human beings, we never know next time we get a human rebirth what it could be like. We can very easily see how many people are suffering from acute sicknesses, how many people are living in countries that are at war, how many people are a victim of violence, conflict, how many are suffering from poverty, how many are too busy just trying to survive, making a living. How many are just so worried with all the obstacles that they have in their lives. Let us try to generate a sense of compassion for all sentient beings, including ourselves, wishing all sentient beings to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, which are the karmas and the afflictions. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And because I have this precious human rebirth, I will not just leave that as a mere wish for them to be happy, because I am one of the very few fortunate ones to have this precious human life. Let us try to also generate a sense of responsibility. I myself will free all sentient beings from suffering and the causes of suffering. Now, how can I do that? I myself am deluded, I myself am circling in samsara since beginningless time. I myself am trapped in the vicious prison of my own mind, in the vicious prison of self-grasping ignorance. How can I help others who are in the same boat? If we look in the history of humanity, there was one young prince by the name of Siddhartha who showed us the way, and then who extensively taught for several decades how to stop engaging negative karmas, how to eliminate, pacify all the afflictions, and how to counteract the root of the afflictions, the cause of all our problems, how to eliminate the self-grasping ignorance by introducing the light of the wisdom that realizes the emptiness of objective existence of all phenomena, including the self. By realizing through listening, contemplating and meditating again and again on the wisdom that realizes the absence of independent existence, of inherent existence, intrinsic existence of all phenomena, gradually we can uproot all our afflictions, we can uproot the self-grasping ignorance and be completely liberated from karmas, completely liberated from uncontrolled rebirths, completely liberated from any kind of suffering. And more than that, motivated by the wish to benefit sentient beings, we can also uproot, we can eliminate our mental cognitive veils, the mental cognitive obscurations that separate us from achieving the state of a Buddha, separate us from achieving the state of omniscience, full awakening. A fully awakened being knows perfectly how to guide, how to help, how to benefit sentient beings, how to lead them to the same state, this unsurpassed state of awakening. Let us try to generate this most beautiful mind in the universe, the mind of bodhicitta, by thinking, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And with this motivation in mind, let us engage in the medicine Buddha Puja this evening. I will share the screen online, and here we have the booklet. Sorry, this is quite an old version. I was looking for the new one today, but I could not find it. This weekend we are sorting all our bookshelves, so hopefully I will be able to find the new version. But anyway, this is the sadhana that we have been using for many years here at Tushita. But of course, it has been updated over the years by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So I would like to use the new version now, but we printed it, but it has disappeared. We will find it hopefully this weekend. So next time we do the Medicine Buddha, we'll use the new version. So we can turn to page number 7 of the Medicine Buddha Sadhana. And starting by visualizing about 4 inches above the crown of my head is a lotus flower. In the center of the lotus is a white moon disk. And seated on the moon disk is my root guru, the Dharmakaya essence of all the Buddhas. Tonight he is appearing in the form of Medicine Buddha, blue in color, and his body radiates blue light. So you can imagine Medicine Buddha about 6 inches tall above the crown of your head, his body made of light, like a hollow body made of light, radiant blue light. His right hand is in the mudra of granting sublime realizations, and it rests on his right knee and holds the stem of the arura plant between thumb and first finger. His left hand is in the mudra of concentration and holds a lapis lazuli bowl filled with nectar, medicine healing nectar. He is seated in the full Vajra position and wearing the 3 red-colored robes of a monk. He has all the signs and qualities of a Buddha. So try to keep this visualization in mind as best as possible. Medicine Buddha sitting above the crown of your head on a lotus flower. And with this visualization in mind, let us recite together the following verses in the middle of page 7. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from both attachment and hatred, holding some close and others distant. Especially for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will very quickly, attain the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. For this reason, I will practice the yoga method of Guru Medicine Buddha. So the practice of the Medicine Buddha is said to be very powerful in this day and age, what we call the degenerated times. As the 7 Medicine Buddhas in the past, when they freshly generated bodhicitta, they made a strong commitment that in those times, the generated times that we are going through now, anybody who calls for help, who prays to them, they will, especially during those times, they will benefit whoever prays to them. So in this puja, we will request them to help us. We'll also visually, mentally imagine, praising them, making offerings to them. And it starts with the 7-limb prayer. So the 7-limb prayers is a very concise practice that enables us to accumulate so much positive potential and purify so much negative karma in a very short time by mentally engaging in those 7 actions. So at the end of every line, we will stop for a few seconds to contemplate on the meaning of what we have just read. I prostrate to Guru, Medicine Buddha. This is the first limb, the limb of prostration. Prostration is just as a sign of respect, recognizing that the Buddhas have eliminated their afflictive and cognitive veils, have achieved all the perfections, all the qualities. So basically, when we prostrate, what we are saying is, I want to achieve the same result of awakening. So you can visualize prostrating to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all the medicine Buddhas with countless bodies as far, as wide as you can visualize. Prostrating with all your bodies of the past lives, of the future lives, prostrating along with also all other sentient beings. Wishing to achieve the same state of a Buddha. Next, the second limb. Each and every offering, including those actually performed and those mentally transformed, I present to you. So the limb of offering, to increase our generosity, to accumulate merit, positive potential, we can mentally visualize that all the offerings that are arranged here, all the water bowls, flowers, incense, light, and so forth, as well as all the offerings, we can mentally imagine all the offerings that are arranged in all the monasteries. The 3 big monasteries in South India, Sera, Gand and Drepung. Can you imagine all the monasteries in Kathmandu, as well as the big stupas, the Mahabodhi stupa, in Bodh Gaya in present-day Bihar, where the Buddha achieved awakening. All the water bowls, all the flowers, all the light offerings that are arranged there. The Bodhanath stupa, Kathmandu. Swayambhunath stupa, all the offerings that are arranged around the stupas. All the centers, the other Tushitas in Dharamshala in Spain, the other FPMT centers, Kopan Monastery, center in Bangalore, center in Pokhara, and all the centers around the world. All the offerings that are arranged, we can mentally imagine them and mentally offer them to countless Buddhas. Try to visualize all these offerings as mountains, oceans, skies of blissful nectar, offering to all the countless Buddhas. Because there are countless Buddhas, these offerings become numberless. So when we make numberless offerings to numberless Buddhas, the positive potential we accumulate is also numberless. Next, the third limb. I confess all non-virtuous actions accumulated since beginningless time. So try to open your heart to all the Buddhas, recognizing that in countless past lives I have engaged in so many negative actions, such as killing, stealing, lying, and so on and so forth. So don't open your heart with guilt, but with a healthy sense of regret. Just recognizing I have done these things in the past, and regret in the sense I don't want to experience the suffering result. I don't want to experience the results of the negative karmas in the form of pain, in the form of unpleasant experiences in the future. Basically saying I want to purify these. I want to eliminate these negative karmas from my mental continuum. And then the fourth limb, I rejoice in the virtues of both ordinary and noble beings. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche, whenever we would do a sadhana like this, he would not stop for each limb, but he would always stop for this fourth limb, the limb of rejoicing. Because it is said that rejoicing in just a millisecond, even rejoicing about the good actions of someone, we can accumulate so much positive potential just in that millisecond. It's so easy to accumulate merit, to accumulate positive potential in that way. So we can try to think of and rejoice in all the deeds of Buddha Shakyamuni 2500 years ago. All the holy actions of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, tirelessly benefiting others, and still doing so at 89 years old. I think at the moment 3 times a week he's meeting hundreds of people coming to see him. Plus all the projects he's, running around the world to benefit. You can rejoice in all the actions of all your spiritual teachers. All the ordained Sangha. You can think of the thousands of monastics living in South India who are engaging in studies, extensive studies, contemplation, meditation, offering service, teaching others, doing retreat. How incredible, how precious. You can think of all the non-monastic Dharma students trying to look inwards, trying to help others, trying to change their minds, trying to eliminate the afflictions. How wonderful, how precious. Let us also rejoice in all the good actions of your near and dear ones, your family members, your friends, and your own as well. All the good actions that you're doing. Take a few seconds to rejoice. Then the fifth and sixth limb. As our guide, I request you, O Buddha, to please abide well and turn the wheel of Dharma until samsara ends. So you can visualize your spiritual friend, your Dharma teacher in front of you, for example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You can visualize offering him countless beautiful thrones with double vajras, symbolizing immortality, indestructibility, requesting your teacher to live long, and offering him big, beautiful dharma chakras, dharma wheels, requesting him to teach, requesting his guidance, his instructions, requesting him to clarify the teachings of the Buddha. And finally, the seventh limb, the dedication. All virtues, both my own and those of others, I dedicate to the ripening of the two bodhicittas and the attainment of Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So you often see in the sadhanas dedication. Not often, always actually. So why is it important to dedicate? It's because it is said that just one small moment of anger is so powerful in the mind that it has the power to annihilate the accumulation of eons of positive karmas, eons of good actions we have done in the past. In just a single moment of anger, all this can be destroyed. But when we properly dedicate our virtues towards full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings, it is a little bit like if we have, I don't know, let's say 1 lakh rupees in our pocket. I don't know if it fits, but in a bag, let's say. And we go on the street, then, anybody, any thief can take that bag from us. But if we put it in the bank, then we might run into however many thieves, they have nothing to steal from us. So similarly, when we dedicate our virtues properly, anger doesn't have anything to destroy apart from the present peaceful state of mind. Cannot destroy the virtue accumulated in the past. Okay, let us turn to page 9 and do the prayers of requests. I beseech you, Bhagavan Medicine Guru, whose kite-colored holy body of lapis lazuli signifies omniscient wisdom and compassion, as vast as limitless space. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate Medicine Guru, who hold in your right hand the King of Medicines, symbolizing your vow to help all pitiful sentient beings plagued by the 424 diseases. Please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate Medicine Guru, who hold in your left hand a bowl of nectar, symbolizing your vow to give the glorious, undying nectar of the Dharma that eliminates the degenerations of sickness, old age, and death. Please grant me your blessings. And now we will turn to simple visualization so that we have more time to engage in mantra recitation. So simply continue visualizing. So we are on page 14. Simply continue visualizing Guru Medicine Buddha above the crown of your head. And let us make the following requests, the following prayer to Medicine Buddha 7 times. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha, having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena. Guru, medicine Buddha, King of lapis light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. So now we'll engage in the mantra recitation. The mantra is basically Guru, medicine Buddha's name that we are chanting in Sanskrit. So as we are doing that, continue visualizing above the crown of your head Guru, medicine Buddha, about 6 inches tall, sitting on a lotus in moon disk, his body made of radiant blue light. And as we recite the mantra, purifying rays of light pour down from his heart and his holy body, eliminating your sicknesses, afflictions, all the causes of our pains and problems, all our negative karmas, all our mental obscurations. And visualize that your body becomes completely filled with light and becomes clean, clear, like crystal. And then visualize as well that the rays radiate out in all directions, purifying the sicknesses and afflictions of all mother sentient beings, not even leaving one single insect aside. So let us try to visualize this as best as we can while we engage in the mantra recitation. The mantra is on page 13, the previous page. And so what time is it? Okay, so we can perhaps engage in the mantra recitation for about maybe 10 minutes. So we'll read together once the middle length mantra, and then for 10 minutes we'll keep on reciting the short mantra at our own pace in silence, but make sure there is at least some wind, coming out of your mouth. Engaging in the visualization, purifying the mind, engaging in the mantra recitation with at least some wind. Doesn't have to be a sound, but at least some wind coming out of your mouth, purifying the speech. And if you have a mala, then you can also use that to count your mantras and purifying the body. Some people, to purify the body, they also, engage in prostrations or other activities. But the main thing is the mind. Trying to maintain the visualization with the wish to benefit all sentient beings. So visualizing these rays of light coming from Guru Medicine Buddha entering into you and also radiating to all sentient beings, purifying all their negative karmas, all their afflictions, all their mental obscurations. Om Namo Bhagavate Bekanse Guru Bedurya Pravarajaya Tathagataya Arhate Samyasa Mudaya Deyata Omo Bekanse Bekanse Maha Bekanse Raja Samurgare Swaha Deyata Omo Bekanse Bekanse Maha Bekanse Raja Samurgare Swaha. Tiyata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samurkade Swaha. So now we're back at page 14, towards the bottom. Now let us visualize as best as we can that Guru Medicine Buddha above the crown of our heads melts into light, and this light absorbs into your heart. It enters through your crown, comes down through the central channel to the heart, and it absorbs into the heart. And imagine that your mind becomes completely one with the Dharmakaya, which is the essence of all the Buddhas. Imagine what it would be like to be a Buddha with perfect love, perfect knowledge, perfect power. Simultaneously knowing the two truths, conventional and ultimate truth, apprehending all phenomena as being conventionally existent and at the same time empty of independent existence, empty of objective or intrinsic existence. And with this awareness of emptiness, let us dedicate the merits. We can read together from the bottom of page 14. Due to these merits, may I complete the ocean-like actions of the sons of the victorious ones. May I become the holy savior, refuge and helper for sentient beings who have repeatedly been kind to me in past lives. By the virtues received from attempting this practice, may all living beings who see, hear, touch, or remember me, even those who merely say my name, in that very moment may they be released from their miseries and experience happiness forever. As all sentient beings, infinite as space, are encompassed by Guru Medicine Buddha's compassion, may I too become the guide for sentient beings existing throughout all 10 directions of the universe. Because of these virtues, may I quickly become Guru Medicine Buddha and lead each and every sentient being into his enlightened realm. So let us also pray for the long and healthy life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Try to visualize as best as you can His Holiness the Dalai Lama in front of you, and requesting him single-pointedly to have a very long and healthy life, so that he may continue to teach the Dharma of Buddha Shakyamuni for a very long time, so that we may continue to benefit from his teachings and from his actions. And let us request him together. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Let us also pray for the swift return of the most kind Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So, as I guess most of you are aware, in the Tibetan culture, it is a tradition when such an enlightened master passes away to look for the reincarnation. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is known as the 14th Dalai Lama, the 14th incarnation of the Dalai Lama. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche was the founder, together with Lama Yeshe, of Tushita here, and all the centers of the FPMT, the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition. About 130 centers, services and projects around the world. And so last year, Lama Zopa Rinpoche took the aspect of passing away. And we are praying that he will soon, very soon, come back in a fresh body to continue his activities, to continue to guide us, continue to teach, continue to also lead the organization. So let us read this prayer composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyekya Buddhas, victorious law song father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings, through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for modern living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly gleam in glory for fortunate disciples. Let us also dedicate whatever merits we have accumulated by engaging in this practice, as well as all the merits we have accumulated in the 3 times, so that all the wars that are happening around the world immediately come to an end. And may there be no new war. May there be no famine. May there be no epidemic. May there be no natural disasters, catastrophes of the elements. May there be no financial crisis either. May peace and happiness prevail in everybody's hearts and lives. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, for coming, and for joining online. And so tomorrow we will see you at 6:30 p.m. Indian time, only on Zoom, because the teacher is actually living in France. And it is a new activity that we are starting tomorrow at Tushita, which is the Tibetan art of debate. So we will learn together online how to engage in debate. And this will be every Wednesday, actually, online at 6:30 p.m. on the same Zoom link that you're connected to today. So most welcome to join us if you want to learn about debate and explore, all the phenomena that we can apprehend, how to classify them, how to, apprehend them. And let us explore the Buddha's teachings in this interactive way. Like the monks for centuries have been engaging in debate every day to, strengthen their understanding of the Buddha's teachings. So this will be tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a good night. See you soon.